Okay, Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Car.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hallelujah. It's a pleasure seeing everybody here today. I mean, it's beautiful seeing Akoti back here with us again, with Sophia, Riel, and Hezekiel, and sister here, Diamani, okay, hallelujah. It's a pleasure seeing everybody here again today on the Father's set-apart day. We're going to go over, we'll finish up the lesson, Broken Promises, Broken Vows. You must put the icing on the cake, and I'm kind of fanatic with this. I got to make sure everything is nice and tight. It has to be airtight. It's like a ship going out to sea. I must make sure that there's no leaks. It's properly pitched and tarred, because we don't want to get out here on the sea and the boat sinks. So we must make sure that this lesson is complete. But I had a better week this week. That's my testimony. Things are rolling along pretty smoothly so far. I mean, from here on out, it should be anyway, with the new job and everything like that. So I'm thankful for the Father for that. I'm here again. You know, anything that I didn't get right yesterday, the Father woke me up. Listen, I'm going to give you another shot at it. So I'm always appreciative of that. So again, it's a pleasure seeing everybody here again today. And we're going to have a good time. We have a lot that we have to do today. So anybody else have any testimonies they would like to share with the Mishra card? Sophia, she can walk now. I think she can run. And it's good to see her. So anybody else have any testimonies? How good the Father's been to them? All right. Okay. All right. Okay, then. So what we're going to do is that we're going to have Zakeh, our chief elder, to blow the shofar 7 times. And we're going to have our executive Moreh Eliyahu, to say the prayer for us. All right.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
If you can do it for English, in English for us, please.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth of Shamayim as it is on earth, or as it is in Shamayim. Give him praise and esteem. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts or our trespasses. We forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, the esteem forever. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Okay, Mr. McCall, what I'm going to do first is put out a disclaimer. This is not a personal attack against no brother, sister, nowhere on the planet Earth. Right? Nobody. We are going to go into some sensitive subjects here today. We must make sure that everybody understands the seriousness of what we're doing here today. Vows and commitments are very important, and we must make sure that we understand exactly what we're getting ourselves into once we follow the Torah walk. So you must just make sure that the things that we do inside of the walk with the Mashiyach, we don't carry those vibrations and energies from that here. A commitment is a commitment. A vow is a vow. And this is all based upon a marriage. You must make sure that we take our marriages a lot more serious than what we do. But we already knows what happens. Once we get angry, listen, you know what? Torah goes out the window. It goes out the window. Listen, you know what? This is personal now. You're talking with me. I ain't trying to hear that. So I'm gone. But that's not the way that we should be behaving in Torah. Let's just make sure that we do everything that the Father is asking us to do. So that's my disclaimer. This is about a relationship. This is a marriage that the Father is trying to bring back together. He sent his Son, Yahushua Mashiyach, to be that atoning sacrifice for the nation of Yashra'al, first and foremost, all right? So we want to begin by giving all the name to the Father of Yahuah. This is important for his mercy. You have to understand what is mercy, his love, his compassion, and his undying love for the nation of Yashra'al. That has to be understood. If it wasn't for the promise that the Father made to Abraham, and I have to say this again, when the Mashiyach, or when that burning furnace walked between those pieces, that was a covenant that the Father made with Abraham, and then that covenant went from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob. That must be understood. If we can't understand that, whatever your personal issues are, you have to take that up with the Father. I mean, that's easy. That's self-explanatory. There should be no problems with that. But we have a problem. We are not in covenant relationship with the Father. That's the issue. Now, every man and every woman is going to have to speak for him and her own self. But I know for a fact, collectively, we are not in covenant relationship with the Father. We still have hiccups and problems, and I'm just here to share with everybody, these hiccups and problems that we're having, it will not be able to make it into the kingdom. No spots, no blemishes. That woman, the nation of Yashra'al, she can't have any blemishes. None. Absolutely none. And we should be saying how important this is because we're getting real close to something I believe major is about to happen. So we must make sure that we take this walk very serious. Okay, my first question is a very easy question. What is one of the things that separates us from the Father and the Son? Again, what is one of the things that separate us from the Father and the Son? There's a lot of things, so nobody can ever give a wrong answer. But what is one of the things, all right, that separates us from the Father? Sin. Somebody said something else, right? Disobedience. Right, we want the commitment, but what separates us from the Father is not having a commitment, not upholding our vows and commitments. So what I have here is idolatry. Israel's major problem, or our major problem, even at this very day, today, is idolatry. And a lot of us are still involved in idolatry. We don't know that we're actually doing things that we're not supposed to be doing. So idolatry is going to be very important. Okay, I have what is idolatry. We're going to go to the book of Isaiah, the 44th chapter. We're going to get right into it. And I'm going to be reading from the Greek Septuagint. So this sounds a little bit different because I want to see how it was first relayed to us before we got to the Masoretic text. Now, listen real close, okay? Throughout this lesson, please pay very close attention take down notes. If you have questions at the end, please ask. But you're going to have to, I believe, me personally, you should be taking down notes. Because these are questions that the Father is asking. The book of Yeshayahu, the 44th chapter, verse 7. It says, who is like me? The Father is pissed off with the nation of Yashra'al. I want everybody to understand that. Even to this very day, the Father has a problem with his bride. She is not cooperating. She has there's nothing wrong with having feelings and emotions. Those things are good. But when your feelings and your emotions now supersede Torah, that's when we have a problem. So watch this again.
You said 44:7 more?
Yes, sir. Am I correct? Am I reading it from? I'm reading it from the Greek Septuagint, so it might be a little bit different.
No, you're right.
Oh, okay. Who is like me? Let him stand and call and declare and prepare for me from the time that I made man forever. Now, I'm just going to touch on this. When he's talking about this man here, he's talking about Adamites, Adamites. We'll talk about that later. All right? The time that I made man forever, and let them tell you the things that are coming before they arrive. So who can do all this? Hide not yourselves, nor go astray. Have you not heard from the beginning? And have not I told you? You, talking about the nation of Yashra'al, you are witnesses if there is an Elohim beside me. Because Israel, even to this day, is involved in idolatry. But they that framed these false Elohims did not hearken as they that grave images are all vain, performing their own desires, which shall not profit them, but they shall be ashamed. That form a god or Elohim, and all that grave worthless image, and all by whom they were made are withered. Yea, let all the death be gathered from among men, and let them stand together, and let them be ashamed and confounded together. For the artificer sharpens the iron, or has the smith. He sharpens the iron. He fashions the idol with an axe. He fixes it with an awl, and fashions it with the strength of his arm. And he will be hungry and weak, and will drink no water. So this is all the labor that this person is doing to make this idol. He's hungry, he's thirsty, all now to make a god, an Elohim, out of his own hands, is what he's doing. But all the things that the Father has showed us, bringing us out of Egypt, who can declare the things that started or happened in the very beginning? The Father wants his due reverence. That's what a groom wants from his bride. The due reverence. This is the reason why every single class that I do, I start off by giving all the esteem to the Father for sending his Son, Yahusha Mashiyach, to be that atoning sacrifice for the nation of Yashra'al. Being that the Father has done all these things for the nation of Israel, and I'm going to say it again, what else really is it that the Father, or you want the Father to do for you? Again, it's all about broken promises that the bride has made. The broken vows that the bride has made. We must make sure that we clear these things up so that we can have a little bit more shalom everywhere that we go. I'm going to jump back to the Masoretic text. It says in verse 13, the carpenter stretches out his rule, or his ruler. He marketh it out with a line. He fitteth it with planes, and he marketh it with the compass, and he make it after the figure of a man, according to the beauty of a man, that it may remain in the house. This will be very, very important, because all of this now is going to tie in now with Judges, the 11th chapter, because I'm not done with Jephthah yet. I'm not done with that guy yet. There's something else that's going on here. We want to make sure that everything is nice and clean here. Jephthah, excuse me. Then, in verse 15, then shall it be for a man to burn verse 14. He heweth him down cedars, and taketh the cypress and the oak, which he strengthened for himself among the trees of the forest. He planteth an ash for the rain, doeth nourish it. Now I'm going to jump back now to the Greek Septuagint and how it's read there. He cuts wood out of the forest, which Yahuah has planted. You see what's going on here now? He's creating an Elohim besides Yahuah Elohim, and the tree that he's cutting down belongs to Yahuah Elohim. You see what's going on here, though, right? All right. He cuts out of the forest which Yahuah has planted, a pine tree, and the rain made it grow. I'm still sticking now with the Greek Septuagint. That it might be for men to burn, which is what the trees are for, and having taken part of it, he warms himself. So he takes some of the tree and he throws it into the fire to keep himself warm. Yea, they burn part of it, and they bake loaves thereon, and the rest they make for themselves gods, and they worship them. So he uses the fire to keep himself warm, and he also uses the fire to bake bread. Half thereof he burns in the fire, and the half of it he bakes loaves on the coals. And having roasted flesh on it, he eats and is satisfied. And having warmed himself, he says, I am comfortable, for I have warmed myself and have seen the fire. And the rest he makes a graven god, or Elohim, and worships and prays, saying, Deliver me thou, for thou art my Elohim. We see what's happening here. The reason why I must stress this point, because we have some very serious pagan holidays that are, they're just going to be running back to back. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. So these disagreeable spirits are out here like crazy. So we must make sure that we protect ourselves, because they're coming out. They're really, really going to be coming out now. Verse 18. They have no understanding to perceive, for they have been blind or blinded, so that they could not see with their eyes, nor perceive with their heart. And one has not considered in his mind, nor known his understanding, that he hath burnt up half of it in the fire, and baked loaves on the coals thereof, and he roasted it and eaten flesh. And of the rest he has made it an abomination, and they worship it. I thought that was very profound. Know thou that their heart is ashes, and they err, and none is able to deliver his soul. See you will not say, there's a lie in my hand. Remember these things, O Jacob and Israel, for thou art my servant. I have formed you to be my servant. And do thou, Israel, not forget me. We have forgotten the Father of Yahuah, days without number, is my argument. Days without number. And I personally believe that we're forever in debt with the Father of Yahuah. We're going to go down to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter, and we're going to read here a little bit. 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter, and we're going to start, let's see, at the 10th verse. 1 Samuel, the 15th chapter, the 10th verse. Let's see, that's where I want to start at. Yep. I believe everybody's pretty much familiar with this whole story here, so I'll just give a quick recap. The father gives Shaul the command to kill off the Amalekites and don't leave anything alive. I mean, I don't want to see, I'm just throwing in some extras here, all right? I don't want to see an ant moving, all right? Destroy every single thing. So the father is given a commandment. And when the father gives a commandment, it's very important for us now to keep his commandments. If we don't keep his commandments, the consequences can be deadly. So remember now, these are all about Promises and vows. Promises and vows now. Then the word of Yahuah. Then came the word of Yahuah to Samuel. Samuel is the prophet. All right? His mother is Hananiah. We went over that last week. The importance, we had talked a little bit more about the importance of Samuel a little bit later. But watch this now. The word of Yahuah unto Samuel, saying, it repented me that I have set up Shaul to be king. So who set up Shaul to be the first king over Israel? Hallelujah. It repented me that I had set up Shaul to be king, for he has turned his back from following me, and have not performed my commandment. And it grieved Samuel, and Samuel cried unto Yahuah all night. So he's praying and begging for forgiveness for Shaul. We never want to fall in the hands of the Father. And when Samuel rose up early to meet Shaul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Shaul came to Carmel, and behold, he set up a place and is gone about and passed on and gone down to Gilgal. I'm going to read it now in the Greek Septuagint. And Samuel rose up early and went to meet Israel in the morning, and it was told Shaul, saying, Samuel has come to Carmel, and now we've been there to Mount Carmel. Samuel was come to Carmel, or Mount Carmel, and he has raised up help for himself, and he turned his chariot and went down to Gilgal to Shaul, and behold, Shaul, now he was offering up, it has now a whole burnt offering to the father of Yahuah, the chief of the spoils of which he brought back out of Amalek. I'm going to jump back now to the Masoretic text. And Samuel came to Shaul, and Shaul said unto him, Blessed be Yahuah. I have performed the commandments of Yahuah. This is what Shaul is saying, that he's been obedient, he's done everything that the Father has asked him to do. Samuel said, What meaneth then this bleating of sheep in my ears, and the lowing of oxen which I hear? And Shaul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites. For the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto Yahuah thy Elohim, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. But those were not the instructions that the Father gave. Following instructions is going to be very, very important. You can't do your own thing. You just can't. It's not good. It's not. The consequences can be very, very disastrous. All right? And Shaul said, They have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the best of the sheep and of the oxen to sacrifice unto Yahuah thy Elohim, and the rest we have utterly destroyed. Then Samuel said unto Shaul, Stay, and I will tell thee what Yahuah hath said to me this night. And he said unto him, Say on. If I was in Shaul's situation, and if Samuel would have came to me and said, Well, listen, you know what? I tell you what. Stay right here. I'm going to tell you now what the Father has plans for you. I would die right on the spot. Right on the spot. Again, vows and commitments. And when the Father gives you instructions, you must follow through. Must follow through. And this trickles down now even to our relationships with our Ish and Ishas. Very important that we follow instructions. Okay, we had verse 15, is it? 17, okay. And Samuel said, when thou was little in thy own sight, was thou not made the head of the tribes of Israel? And Yahuah anointed thee king over Israel? And Yahuah sent thee on a journey and said, this is what he said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners of the Amalekites, or the sinners of the Amalekites, excuse me. This is very important. You're not going to add any prepositional phrases here. And Yahuah sent thee on a journey and said, Go and utterly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites. Not the sinners amongst the Amalekites, but the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore, then didst thou not obey the voice of Yahuah, but didst fly upon the spoil, and didst evil in the sight of Yahuah. And Shaul said unto Samuel, Yes, I have obeyed the voice of Yahuah, and have gone the way which Yahuah hath sent me, and have brought back Agag, the king of Amalekite. That was not what the father told Shaul to do. I have utterly destroyed the Amalekites, but the people took of the spoil of the sheep, the oxen, the chief of the things which should have been utterly destroyed, to sacrifice to Yahuah, your Elohim, in Gilgal. And Samuel said, Have Yahuah as great delight. This is going to be important, because all of this now is going to tie in now with Jephthah now and his daughter in Judges the 11th chapter. Samuel said, Have Yahuah as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of Yahuah. Behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. Verse 23 is going to be the power punch. For rebellion is as sin. Rebellion is as witchcraft. Rebellion is as stubbornness, it is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of Yahuah, Yahuah has rejected thee from being king. All right? So I just want to make sure that everybody understands what's going on there. Now, in verse 23, we have the word idolatry, right? That word idolatry is the word teraphim. Please watch these words here. We have teraphim. Anybody know what a teraphim is?
Image.
Who said that? Okay, hallelujah, an image. We're going to get into some more definitions on what is a teraphim. If you're on the right track, teraphim. 2 Chronicles, Nishbakar. 2 Chronicles. 2 Chronicles, we're going to go 33. Verse 6. 2 Chronicles 33, verse 6. Actually, if we can get some, because if you can do this for me, please. 1 through 6, 2 Chronicles 33, 1 through 6. Please pay very close attention, okay? Because again, this is going to shed a whole lot of light on Judges 11th chapter and some things that we still might be doing that we might not be aware of.
2 Chronicles 33, verse 1. Manasseh was 12 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 55 years in Jerusalem.
Okay, so Manasseh reigned, he began his reign at 12 years old. Read on.
But did that which was evil in the sight of Yahuah, like unto the abominations of the heathen, whom Yahuah had cast out before the children of Yashra'al. For he built again the high places which Hezekiah his father had broken down. And he had reared up altars for Baalim.
Right, Baalim. So whenever you get the time, we must try to do an extensive research on these names here. Okay? Baalim. Read on.
And made groves, and worshipped all the host of heaven, and served them. Also he built altars in the house of Yahuah.
In the house of Yahuah. He built altars in the house of Yahuah. Manasseh, read on.
Whereof Yahuah had said, in Jerusalem, or Jerusalem, shall my name be forever. And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the two courts of the house of Yahuah. And he caused his children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom.
Stop right there. All right. This is going to be very important. Anybody know what is Hinnom? Our people was in some stuff.
The place where they did human, infant sacrifice.
Absolutely, absolutely. These things are centered around these pagan holidays that are coming up today, right around the corner. What is it, November 24th, 28th or something like that? Because I didn't even know. My daughter was explaining to me a couple of days ago. She told me that Thanksgiving doesn't fall on the same, it's like, I thought it was like the 24th. But she said sometimes it's the 28th. I said, no, it's like Christmas. I mean, it's the 25th all the time. She said, no, Daddy.
It's the fourth Thursday. Whatever that fourth Thursday falls on.
I never knew that. I thought it was on the same day every year. But anyway, Lisha, you're not absolutely correct. So, Yekezikiel, if you can do 4, 5, and 6 for me, please, one more time.
Verse 4. Also he built altars in the house of Yahuah, whereof Yahuah had said, In Jerusalem shall my name be forever. And he built altars for all the host of heaven in the 2 courts of the house of Yahuah. Verse 6. And he caused the children to pass through the fire in the valley of the son of Hinnom. Also he observed times, and used enchantments, and used witchcraft, and dealt with a familiar spirit, and with wizards. He wrought much evil in the sight of Yahuah to provoke him to anger.
One more for me, please. No, 2 more, 7 to verse 8. Then we'll,
Verse 7. And he set a carved image, the idol which he had made in the house of Elohim, of which Elohim had said to Daud and to Shlomo or Solomon, his son, In this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen before all the tribes of Yashra'al, will I put my name forever.
Forever. One more.
Neither will I any more remove the foot of Yashra'al from out of the land which I have appointed for your fathers, so that they will take heed to do all that I have commanded them, according to the whole law, and the statutes and the ordinances by the hand of Moshe.
Okay, and just to let you know, if you finish reading the story, actually Manasseh repented from all the things that he had done, and he cleaned up these things here. But just to share with you some of the things that our people was involved with, passing our children through the fire, which is an absolute no-no in Israel, an absolute no-no. So when we start to look a little bit deeper into Tepharim and Hinnom, this is going to now explain why I'm taking the position that I'm taking in regards to Judges 11th chapter. But it gets a whole lot So go to Genesis 31st chapter, verses 17. Verse 17. Let me see what we got here. Okay, there we go. We got it. Okay. If we can have, let's see, give Maisha, she can read verse 17 to 19. Genesis 17 to 19. 31, 17 to 19.
When Yaakov rose up and set his sons and his wives upon camels, and carried away all his cattle and all his goods which he had gotten, the cattle of his getting which he had gotten in Padandaram, for to go to Isaac, his father, in the land of Canaan.
Right.
And Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel and had stolen the images that were her father's.
Right. And so we have here that Laban went to shear his sheep, and Rachel had stolen the images that were her father's. Anybody know what image she stole?
Fertility goddess?
This is singular. So we're going to go into it. And just keep this in memory. This is Strong's number 8655. 8655. If we can get for Rob, please, to read verses 24 to 29. We can skip down here a little bit, because everybody knows the play here that's going on with Jacob and Laban, him leaving, taking his wives and his concubines with him, so you don't have to go through all of that. So 29 to 30, please. 24 to 29.
Genesis 31, 24 to 29. And Yahuah came to Laban the Syrian into a dream by night, and said unto him, Take heed that thou speak not to Jacob, neither good or bad. Then Laban overtook Jacob, and now Jacob had pitched his tent in the mount, and Laban with his brethren pitched in the mount of Gilead. And Laban said unto Jacob, What hast thou done, that thou hast stolen away unawares to me, and carried away my daughters as captives, taken with the sword? Wherefore didst thou flee away secretly, and steal away from me, and didst not tell me, that I might have sent thee away with mirth, and with songs, and tabret, and with harp, and hast not suffered me to kiss my sons and my daughters? Thou hast not done foolishly, in so doing. It is in the power of my hand to do you hurt. For Yahuah of your fathers spake unto me yesternight, saying, Take thou heed that thou speak not to Jacob neither good or bad.
Hallelujah. If we can get your Chief Zakim to Elder to read verses 34 for me, please.
Genesis 31, verse 30.
Please listen very carefully.
And now, though thou wouldest needs be gone, because thou longest after thy father's house, yet wherefore hast thou stolen my Elohim?
My Elohim, exactly. And so Laban said, you have stolen my Elohim, but the Elohim of your fathers, okay, came to me by night, but you took my Elohim. Read on.
And Jacob answered and said to Laban, Because I was afraid, for I said, Peradventure, thou wouldest take by force thy daughters from me. With whomsoever thou findest thy Elohims, let him not live.
Wow. Now, with whomsoever, watch what Jacob said. With whomsoever thou findest thy Elohim, let him not live. Who took Laban's Elohim? Well, somebody said, the word, heard what?
I said daughters.
Oh,
His daughter.
oh, okay.
His
Now, there
favorite
was
wife.
one, huh?
His favorite wife.
Right, so exactly, so there was one particular woman, which was his favorite, Rachel. She was the one that actually took the teraphim. Jacob said, with whomsoever thou findest thy Elohim, let him not live. But Jacob obviously didn't know that Rachel took this Elohim, this teraphim. Read on.
Before our brethren discern thou what is thine with me, and take it to thee. For Jacob knew not that Rachel had stolen them.
Mm-hmm.
And Laban went into Jacob's tent, and into Leah's tent, and into the two maidservants' tents, but he found them not. Then went he out of Leah's tent, and entered into Rachel's tent. Now Rachel had taken the images, and put them in camel's furniture, and sat upon them, and Laban searched all the tent, but found them not.
Right, and so we have here, Rachel is sitting on, she's not sitting on the image, but she put them in the camel's furniture. And that word image, again, is plural, and we have, again, the word teraphim. Okay, this is going to get interesting, Mr. Cobb. Very, very interesting. We're going to now ask Yahuah if he can do the same story in the book of Yashra'al, the 31st chapter, verses 40 to 44. Okay, watch how this gets now. where it's almost spooky. I'm just here to share with you that disagreeable spirits are real. They're realer than just as I'm talking to you. I mean, they are very, very real. These Elohim, there are other spirits out here. There are other mighty ones. This is the reason why the Father said that He chose the nation of Yashra'al. I mean, that's our Elohim. That was allotted to Yahuah. We are His possession. But we have the book of Yashra'al, the 31st chapter, verses 40 to 44.
Book of Yashra'al, chapter 31, verse 40 through 44. And Raquel stole her father's images, and she took them, and she concealed them upon the camel upon which she sat. And she went on. And this
Listen to what listen to this. This is almost frightening. Read on.
Verse 41. And this is the manner of the images.
This is the manner of the images. We talk about this teraphim here. Read on.
And taking a man who was the firstborn.
Taking a man that is a firstborn. We're going to talk about that too. It is very important that we understand firstborn males and firstborn females. Read on.
And slaying him. And taking the hair off his head. And taking salt and salting the head.
Okay, now I think you might miss something. He was beheaded.
Yeah.
Okay, he was beheaded. Okay, the head is then salted. Right, that's what we have?
Yeah.
Okay, read on.
And anointing it in order. Then taking a small tablet of copper or a tablet of gold, and writing the name upon it, and placing the tablet under his tongue.
Right, so the man's name, you take a tablet, either gold or silver, you put it underneath the beheaded man's tongue. Read on.
And taking the head of the tablet under the tongue, and putting it in the house. And lighting up lights before it, and bowing down to it. And at the time when they bow down to it, it speaks to them in all manners that they ask of it.
Okay. Listen, let me just share something with you. These things work. Remember when Israel was in Egypt? And